We're here at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay where thousands of birds have made home right here in Hampton Roads.
So if you start watching, you'll see the terns anytime, and I will start seeing them. See the common terns and royal terns, laughing gulls.
And for the royal terns and the sandwich terns, this represents almost all of the nesting that occurs in Virginia. So this is hugely important.
So if you look here on the edge, those pelicans are nesting right up there on the edge where those dead trees are. They have some tiny chicks there right now. I saw them yesterday.
How many birds do you think are in this area right now?
So we've counted over 5,000 adults out here on the main parade ground. And if you think about pairs, so 2,500 to 3,000 nests, each with a chick, hopefully. So somewhere in the maybe 7,500 to 8,000, just in the royal and sandwich terns. We also passed the nesting pelicans when we came in, and the snowy egrets, probably 100 snowy egrets and, I don't know, several hundred pelicans. We have the laughing gulls that really prefer to use this sort of riprap area, not on the sand, but kind of in this low vegetation in the riprap. You see it has a really nice gentle slope, and it's got some dirt and vegetation in there, and they nest in amongst that as well. And that's a species that historically has been pretty abundant, but in the last 5 years we've seen a real dramatic decline in its nesting success all up and down the eastern seaboard. So while it wasn't originally one of our focus conservation species, once we actually got this established, it became that because the declines that we were seeing along the eastern seaboard really coincided with our moving this colony over here to Fort Wool and the barge array.
Well, how do you feel when you see this?
Oh, this is an amazing sight to see. All these little guys running around, knowing that they're going to become part of our collective tern community for the future. What a great success story.
Here's your video. All the chicks.
And you should see some downy chicks out there. So they're really just still got their fuzzy down.
Yeah.
And some chicks that almost look like they're adults, but they're still not able to fly yet.
I see their tuffy hair.
Are on the right and the gulls are on the left. You can hear the difference, right? Listen to this. You'll hear the and hear your brr, brr, brr.
So this is just what they've been calling home for quite some time.
So important to appreciate that this colony has used the South Island of the Hampton Roads Bridge-Tunnel for almost over 3 decades. And when we talk with transportation officials, we talk with colleagues and interested parties, we remind them that even with the volume of transportation, the air traffic coming off the naval installation from Langley, from Oceana, and all the places, these birds found South Island of the Hampton Roads Bridge-Tunnel to be the place they wanted to be. And so from our perspective, really important that we try not to move them very far because they have such strong fidelity to this location. They come back every year. And we know that because we've banded some birds that we have found back here in subsequent years.
So if you look right here, that closest gull to us back on the edge is not moving. He's got a band on him.
Oh, okay.
See the PFR?
I see, yeah.
He's posing down with it. So that's one of the bands they can read. It's a plastic field readable, and they call that in or send it in, and they'll get told where that bird was banded and when. And then that data, we get that data as well, so we know how far they go. We actually got a reporting back last year from Honduras of a bird that was banded here.
Do you ever just come out here just to sit for a second and
sometimes like especially early on in the season just to see what's happening. So the birds are coming back, the adults as they mature continue to come back to this area. If they liked another place, somewhere up Grandview Beach or somewhere down Ocean View or even over on the Eastern Shore, this colony would be there. So from our perspective, these two species that use the parade ground This represents almost all of the nesting for the sandwich tern and the royal tern that occurs in Virginia. It's Virginia's largest seabird colony. So at its peak here on Fort Wool, or when it was on the Hampton Roads Bridge-Tunnel, you could have in the middle of July with adults and chicks as many as 25,000 animals, which is impressive in all of the best senses of that word.
Oh, here's the oyster catcher.
Oyster catcher, so cool. Bright orange bill. Oh, wow.
See the one further on beyond him?
Yeah.
So we have 1 or 2 pairs nesting here, kind of a bonus.
Oh, look at that.
I just love that bill.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so cool.
And they have an orange eyeball also.
Where we are right now?
Okay, we're on a barge in the middle of it. Excuse me. We're in a barge in the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay that has black skimmers, gold-billed terns, and common terns nesting on it.
So these barges can't just be brought out here. We do have to have permits from the Coast Guard, from the Marine Resources Commission, and the Army Corps of Engineers, and the Coast Guard is dialed in with us in the event of severe weather. So one of the things that's less than ideal about this situation is in the event of severe weather, we would actually have to relocate these barges, maybe over to Willoughby Spit. Fingers crossed, this is our 4th nesting season. We've not had to do that yet. And we really don't know what would happen. You know, if there are chicks on the barges, would the adults follow? I mean, these barges never move at lightning speed, but we just don't know what would happen if the barge, for instance, needed to be taken over to the shelter of Willoughby Bay in the event of a hurricane or tropical storm. So our contractor is great in working with us on that, and the Coast Guard is also really great in working with us on that too. So everybody appreciates the partnership. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has been phenomenal to work with, and thinking about recognizing this is not an ideal long-term situation, and what can we do that's a permanent solution for these birds.
So everybody pretty much, everybody you're working with understands the vital importance of, this island here.
Yes, especially once they come out and see this spectacle. And when I use spectacle, I mean that in the very positive sense of the word. I mean, this is really just, to me, heartwarming to see all these birds here, to see how successful they are. Adults flying over our heads right now, looking for fish to bring in to their chicks, chicks calling to their parents to say, I'm hungry, where's lunch? And it really is a conservation success story in the most amazing sense. And no 2 years have been the same. Something different has happened every year. So we adapt our management strategies in response to that. And sometimes we have to make decisions on the fly, but so far we feel like everything we've done has been a positive step that benefits the birds. And we're also working and making sure that anything we're doing out here is not impacting these historic structures. So, we partner very closely with the State Department of Historic Resources to make sure that we understand the constraints within which we can work relative to the historic nature of this location. Viewers and citizens should be proud to know that right in their midst is this great, amazing annual cycle going on where these birds come back and they love this area. And so finding a place where the birds are able to come every year and nest and raise young without impacting any of all of these important operations, the movement of goods and services in and out of Hampton Roads, people, military operations, has been something we've been very deliberate about and taken a lot of time to ensure that we get it right, because we'll get one chance to get it right, so we want to make sure we do it well.